Okay. Zach Charbonnet, obviously a my guy.
Talk
Off the
about a
board to the Seattle
blindside
Seahawks,
pick.
which, all right, let's look at the bright side first. I've been on Zach Charbonnet hard since last year,
He was the
and
RB3.
he was the RB3, and he got
Off the board.
second round draft capital.
Awesome.
Awesome stuff. Um,
What the heck? What happened?
So I would have thought if the Seattle Seahawks, which they were one of the teams I least suspected to take a running back in this draft, I would have thought if they were going to take a running back, they would have taken somebody with more receiving upside. And Charbonnet's good at that. He's a fine receiving back, but that's not like his specialty by any means. I mean, him and Kenneth Walker are both, meh at receiving. Like,
so did they?
Charbonnet's probably better at receiving, but
yes. Well, that's what I'm thinking.
But that's not how they're going to use him, right? He's not that type of player.
They have to use him in the receiving game, right?
I guess he had 37 receptions for 321 yards
that's
last
like
year.
and he was very, very good. When you watch those, like when you watch those were legit. Like he made the best out of that. He averaged almost per reception. He had almost 10 yards per reception.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so maybe that's what they're thinking here. Maybe that's the thought process is they're going to bring him in to be more of a receiving back because that's where. But you have to understand the ripple effect here.
This screws up everything.
I mean, Kenneth Walker is going down in my dynasty ranks by a couple spots,
at least a full tier.
I already had Jahmyr Gibbs over him after yesterday.
It's no question now.
It cemented it. Jahmyr Gibbs is ahead of
so
I'm somebody that has a ton of Kenneth Walker shares, but my goodness, this is going to take away his receiving game upside. Like it could potentially take away in the red zone. Charbonnet's a bigger guy that would be good at the goal line. I mean, this is just screwing all that up.
Let's flash back here, okay? Let's go back to the second that Kenneth Walker was drafted, okay? So Kenneth Walker gets drafted early second round last year, the second running back off the board, really, probably going to be the most long-lasting next to Breece Hall running back from that class. And he is behind Rashad Penny at the beginning of the year, has injury issues. We sort of questioned his receiving capability. Then he comes and replaces Rashad Penny after Rashad Penny gets hurt and Kenneth Walker gets healthy. He shows flashes of receiving upside. He has one or two games where he has significant targets and significant fantasy points from that. But from a consistency perspective, it's not really there. They make it to the playoffs. They lose. They re-sign Geno to a 3-year deal. They have DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and then they just draft Jackson Smith-Njigba, who's primarily a slot receiver, we think one of the best slot receivers around. And we said that's going to impact Kenneth Walker's receiving capability in the backfield, which I think we were right about. And then they come and they draft Zach Charbonnet. Are you seeing like a link or a reason for why they're doing this?
No.
Does any of that make sense? Does this have to do with the Jackson Smith-Njigba pairing? Like in passing game sets, will they have Charbonnet on the field and target him? Will he be the dump off guy?
But they've already got 3 mouths to feed at the receiver position.
Does this have to do with an NFC rival in the Detroit Lions who kind of tried the committee backfield system with Swift and Jamal Williams? They could use Kenneth Walker as the guy in the red zone, and they use Charbonnet between the...
I think it would be opposite. I think they'd use Charbonnet in the red zone.
Really? Kenneth Walker's the bruiser, though.
I would say Charbonnet's
a
bigger guy, right?
Okay.
He's a bigger back. I feel like Kenneth
Yeah.
Walker is, he's capable of that. But this is what I don't understand. Like, you can't say that Zach Charbonnet is not going to take some of that away from Kenneth Walker.
Did they really want Penny and Kenneth Walker to work out together?
It must have been.
Maybe that's what they wanted. All the way back there, looking back there, it's like, well, they never got that opportunity to put them together. So now we're just going to try to get a guy that doesn't have health concerns. That could absolutely be it. They totally could have actually been committed to Penny for that long because they believed in what he could do.
A lot of this is going to have to be wait and see. His dynasty ranking, his output. I have no idea.
Where do you think he's going to go in rookie drafts now?
I have
late
no
first.
idea.
Do you think he's still worthy of going late first? He has second round draft capital.
Oh my gosh!
And
this is one of the weirdest picks I've ever done.
He's no James Cook. This is just like I'm kind of.
He is good, and it's just
he's legitimately good.
He is so risky at the end of the first round of Dynasty rookie drafts. You're gonna have to tune in next week when we have time to sort all this out and get some other opinions because this is just wonky. And honestly, I'm kind of upset because he's my guy, and I wish he would have gone literally anywhere
This is
else.
kind of a lose-lose for both running backs. You would think right off the bat, unless something bizarre happens. Like, are they trying to transition to like a 6-back offense? I mean, Geno Smith is pretty mobile back there, but he's more of I would say he's more of a traditional pocket passer, but he can move around.
I'm at a loss for words. Obviously, just to highlight, Zach Charbonnet had 1,400 yards on 195 rushing attempts last
His
year.
talent is not
He's
in question
ridiculous.
here.
He's ridiculous.
It's not in
I
question.
like him as much as I like Kenneth Walker last year. So that's why I'm just bummed. But oh well, he's a great player. It'll be interesting to see where he goes, and we're gonna have to sort this out in our heads for a little bit. All right, make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe. We've got all kinds of Dynasty rookie content coming out tonight and for the rest of the offseason. So make sure you are subscribed to Dynasty Domain. As always, we appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you in a minute.